Then, I was a licensed broker at last, ready to make my fortune. My first day as a future master of the universe.
I have X on it, 86 and a quarter 6 months ago. Today it is trading at 36 and a half. Mr.
They called it Black Monday. No shit. By 4 p.m., the market had dropped 508 points. The biggest plummet since the crash of '29.
I know your family, you know mine. No, I don't know, some fucking country in Europe took a shit. Let them do what they want to fucking do. Our market's solid.
Holdings, this is not something that you want to sell.
You know what happened? A fucking tsunami.
I think you're making a big mistake.
Mr. Tyson,
yes, I will talk to your
trust
wife.
me, do not answer the phone. A lot of people are going to be calling you, trying to get your dirty laundry.
A lot of activity. You don't know what's going on here.
I know. I know. Holy fucking shit.
Unbelievable. My first shitty day as a broker. Within a month, L.F. Rothschild, an institution since 1899, closed its doors. Wall Street had swallowed me up and shit me right back out again.
Hey folks, hope you enjoyed that little intro. It's pretty fun, that one. But yeah, wow, 987 stock market crash, and of course Leonardo DiCaprio in there. That was pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoying yourself out there. Bit of a market correction, and yeah, we've seen a few volatile days, right? So down and up and all down. And today we've seen a decent down day with people talk suddenly just out of the blue. You know, it's almost like that. With the labor statistics calling about recession, landing. But on the bonus side, interest rate cuts are more likely and, of course, maybe bigger. So that's the bonus stuff there. And markets have moved into correction. Now, hopefully, typically, if we get something like 10-15%, that'd be a decent correction in the stock market. Obviously, that's flowing into crypto as well. Excuse me. So we're going to get into a lot of the markets. We've got Life Beneath the Truth in the house there. How are you today? Very, very good. We've got Hex Pulsechain incentive for the win, 100%. Now, as you guys know, I always cover the stock market every day. And even though I'm really a crypto person, covering the stock market and the economic news at a high level always gives us an idea of what's going on. And that's actually been tracking pretty well. So if you're watching this stream, you're pretty much informed about what's going on every day. You're not in the clouds, right? So if you're just doing crypto purely, you miss out on all the economic stuff and a lot of the stock market stuff, and they are tied in together. So it's a good thing about this channel, why we cover the stock market during the weekdays. So we're going to get into Friday's results, the end of the week for the stock market. And unfortunately, it was a down day. So let's get into it. And let's see where the market landed there on the Friday. So here we are on the markets. We got the NASDAQ closes in correction territory as recession fears bite. So there's talk of recession, hard landing. Obviously, Chair Jerome Powell previously had been talking about a soft landing. But of course, what they have been trying to do is trade away employment for lower inflation, right? So that's kind of the target there. Now we've got the Dow Jones at the moment, the industrial Dow Jones. It's got the top 30 industrials in it. That is down 1.5% today, 610 points. Now we saw in that video about market correction of 500 points. Well, that was back in 1987. That was an absolute huge amount versus the total stock market. Obviously, stock market indices are way higher now. The Dow Jones there down 610 points to 39,737. We've got the S&P 500 down 1.84%, down 100 points to 5,346. We've got the NASDAQ down almost 2.5% at 420 points, down to 16,773. That's the NASDAQ with all the tech companies in it. So quite a decent correction day. You know, not a 5% day or anything dramatic like that, but often these will get added together over a couple of days at least. So we'll see where this goes. We look at the last week, for example. The index has gone from just under 41,000 or just 41,000 over in the midweek down to below 39,500 or 39,700 That's 1,700 points just in the last couple of days since Wednesday. So that's a pretty decent correction there. And so we'll see whether it opens up next week like that as well, or we get a bit of a recovery bounce on Monday. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. And volatile index, which moves around a lot, is up 26% today. So a pretty big move, 4.8 points up to 23.39 points. US dollar has got slammed. The US dollar got slammed there, down 1.86% to 102.99. That devaluation, pretty impressive. Let's see what happens to the commodities. We've got West Texas at the moment is down 2.8% to $74. So that's down $2.17 on West Texas barrel oil. Brent oil barrel is down 2.5%, almost $2 to $77.57. So oil a lot cheaper. So pretty good news for up in the US if you're still traveling around the US on your summer, kind of the end of the summer break. We've got gold though benefiting from this interest rate from the devaluation as well. Gold is up 0.2%, $5.30 to $2,486. Silver is up 0.7%, 20 cents there to $28.68. We're expecting silver to really benefit from the interest rate pivots from any devaluation of the dollar. So that's something that we're looking out for there at the moment. We know that rich dad, poor dad, he buys property, he leverages himself up, and he uses that to go and buy things like gold mines and things like that, and he accumulates the gold. He considers that, of course, real money as well. He's also in crypto. So that's kind of the play there. On that, let's have a check out on the weekly payrolls. Weekly payrolls triggered hard landing worries. The July officials job report showed that fewer jobs were created last month than expected. This is really what's caused this trigger. The July official jobs report showed that fewer jobs were created last month than expected, with non-farm payrolls rising 114,000 last month, the lowest since January 2021, which is pretty much where Biden got into power, right? The Dow from a revised 179,000 in June. Economists had seen the July number at 177,000. The unemployment rate also rose to 4.3%, up from 4.1%. Still low, but that's a significant climb in June, while month-on-month average hourly wage growth came in at 0.2%, a drop of 0.3% the previous month. So you got less income there on that point of view. The sharp slowdown in payrolls in July and sharper rise in unemployment rate makes this a September interest rate cut inevitable, said analyst at Capital Economics, and will increase the speculation that the Fed will kick off its loosening cycle with a 50 basis point cut, even an intra-meeting move. So that is pretty exciting. So that's the positive news. So that will be good for the markets. The weekend data prompted many on Wall Street to call on the Fed to slash rates by 50 basis points at the September meeting. Remember, that's still about 6.5 weeks away. JP Morgan joined Citi early on Friday, calling for a back-to-back 50 basis point rate cuts in September and November. So 1 percentage point this year. That would be pretty exciting for the markets. And of course, that would relieve a lot of stress on homeowners and things like that. We now think the FOMC cuts by 50 basis points at both September and November meetings, followed by 25 basis point cuts every meeting thereafter. Wow. So a true full-on pivot in September, and down we go. So Friday adding that there was a strong case for the Feds to act before the September 18th meeting, which would be pretty interesting if they did that. About 80% of traders believe the Fed could cut by 50 basis points in September. So things have really flipped around pretty aggressively this week, especially Friday. Real turning point there in the narrative. Let's have a look at the interest rate cuts. Fed monitor there. Yeah, 6 weeks and 4 days and 7 hours to go. So miles away till September. We've got, vast majority expecting now 50 basis points. Look at that, 75% in September expecting a 50 basis point cut there. November, we've got, once again, if we get down to 5%, we've got 50% of people expecting a 50 basis point cut in November as well. So that's 1 percentage point between the two of those. Moving into December, once again, we've got the majority expecting at least a 25 basis point cut in December next year. Look at that. So that's 1.25% points down. So that's pretty impressive. What a turnaround that will be. And that will fuel the markets like nothing else. I tell you that it's going to be pretty awesome. So we might be a little bit delayed. Still expecting October to be the pickup. That's kind of still where I'm picking there. and be fueled by the September rate cut and things like that. Now, stock market typically gets sold off as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what the crypto market does in that time frame. I'm still expecting crypto to rally, even if the stock market gets has a little correction again after the interest rate pivots, which is what we typically see. Let's get into a bit more deep dive. We can see the actual jobs there that we can see for the US non-farm payrolls. We can see here since June 2021, so about 6 months after the Biden administration got in, the jobs were still growing pretty well. You got to remember they were growing off a low base from the COVID period. So there was a bit of strong recovery from that point, and then it started to shave off, obviously, as interest rates started going up as well. Most fastest, quickest interest rate drive, remember? And so now we have started getting to this much lower level. Look at us coming down here. So we were, doing big numbers in 21, 860,000 job growth. That's all the way down now to, 108,216, of course, and our latest numbers, 214,000. So it's come down, baby. So that's where that employment traded off for inflation, as well as, the recovery from COVID period really taking its toll. And, of course, all the bad policies that the Biden administration is running. As soon as they got into power, they attacked energy. That's the one thing you want to solve when you first get into an administration is deal with your energy and lower the economic engine for the modern economy. It's just that easy. It's a bit like petrol for a car. The car's the economy. You just want to have that, get that petrol nice and cheap. And that's the way you can go a lot further and make a lot more profits. That's kind of the idea. So that is pretty much it on the non-farm payrolls at the moment. That leads us into crypto. Unfortunately, dark red. Dark red on the crypto. We've got Bitcoin at the moment, 61,649, and down 5.7%. So a big move for Bitcoin. Ethereum there, 3,000, down 6.33%. So here we got this relationship with the stock market. And of course, this is where we, it's still considered like they call, you saw BlackRock CEO talk about how, bond market, commodities, gold and silver, and of course Bitcoin, all in the same sort of bag, but really it's not. It's still in the tied to the speculative market and stock market, and so we're seeing that being pulled down today as well. So you get people shorting, you get the big players, selling down, all sorts of stuff, moving to safety, all that good stuff there, and so that's what we're seeing at the moment, down 5.7% on Bitcoin. Ethereum, they're just holding on to 3,000. Look at that, it's just on the marker there, down 6.34%. Everything is pretty much down. Solana down 8.5% to $153. ADA's down 7%. XRP is down 5%. So Tron is down 3.3%. Litecoin down 6.3%. BNB down 5.6%. So there's your leaders. Down they go. And of course, all the meme coins are down as well. We're going to have a look at that a bit closer. Now, Bitcoin dominance back up over 54%. So 54.23%. Remember, it was down at around 53.5% for a while. That is where we're going, and earlier in the year it was briefly below 50%, so it's definitely gained some strength there. Let's jump into Bitcoin directly. This is on the hourly. I want to show the hourly this time, and of course you can see we're actually doing pretty well right on the hourly. We're getting back up to 65,500, and then you can see the big red candle right there at this 2 o'clock in the morning my time, and 2 o'clock, I think it's 2 o'clock in the morning my time. And down we have gone. Look at that. But we have had a bounce back from 61,180 to 61,500. So let's see where we go here. The next couple of hours is going to be pretty crucial for that. But a big sell-off there for sure. And I think we can get the actual numbers there. So yeah, $4,200 move. 6.5%. Pretty crazy. Let's go to the daily for Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin on Coinbase, by the way. We are holding up above that 50-day moving average. Remember, in yellow, that was looking really good. We have smashed that. We're now right between, just below 50% move down towards the 200-day moving average in blue, which is at 59,564. So quite a move down. But remember, we've had moves down here before. Look at that, a couple of moves down. We managed to recover there at the moment. So we may very well get that. I did say that, August, September, particularly the first half of September, was probably going to be where we get the volatility, the remaining volatility, I should say. But I thought we're still looking pretty good from a base level, from an absolute level. And so that nothing's really changed. Obviously, this market reaction to the employment disappointment around the non-farm payrolls has pushed us down. But I'm still very bullish on potentially even as early as the second half of September with the interest rate cuts. And of course, definitely bullish around October onwards. So we shall see where we go there. And we're sitting above the 200-day moving average. Very important that we hold that. Probably a good chance we will slide down and test the 60,000 mark. So really, I think we've got the next support line, 59,500 to 60,000 is where I've got the next support line. Next support line at 60K, not only is it a psychological level around 60K, but we also have a lot of support level back here in June. And of course, also back here in May. So you can sort of see it's kind of a natural level, that 60K. And then we also have the 200-day moving average also sitting under there as support as well. So there's a bit of a range there, 59,500 to 60,000. So we really need to defend that. That's going to be very, very important, particularly the 200-day moving average. Although we have breached the 200-day moving average before and recovered. So I still feel like the next few weeks going to definitely be volatile. Probably a bit more to the downside is my guess over the weekend. And we know Sunday's pretty slow on the markets. But maybe we get a bit of a surprise. Maybe not Monday, Tuesday, possibly. If we do get a positive day on Monday, it'd be helpful. But I think it's just going to be volatile up and down days for quite a while, maybe up to 5 or 6 weeks at least. So we'll see where that all hits. We get some good news in the markets that could turn things around as well. So we're just talking about the news that's come out around employment. And let's get into Bitcoin. So, before we leave the Bitcoin chart, actually, let's go have a look. So we've got these interest rate pivots looking even more likely now. It's 18 September and even bigger, not 25 basis points, but 50 basis points. And like I say, typical pullback September. September could be a bit rough, but the interest rate pivot might really make it more bullish. And of course, we get into October. October's generally always a bullish month, and then the US elections, 5th of November. Now, the US elections is going to be positive if we get Trump wins because we'll get the SEC chair fired by January, February next year. And of course, we'll get a new regime, a new approach to regulation, which will be a lot simplified, won't be lawfare against crypto. The only negative is the strategic reserve. And of course, if you saw Trump, I'm a big backer of Trump, but of course, Trump's also capable of saying some silly off-the-cuff stuff as well. As part of his personality. And of course, we saw him talking today about potentially using, paying off the $35 trillion in debt, which we highlighted the other day, that the US has with some crypto checks, which is pretty silly, but that's just how it goes. He does stuff like that. All right, so let's move on into the meme coins, onto Bitcoin. Now, obviously, we've been backing the Runes protocol. Expecting dog go to the moon once we get into that big bull market rally to really have its day in the sun. At the moment, we've got the dog to the moon moving down with Bitcoin, but not very much at all. Only down 1.66% today, despite the 6.5% pullback in Bitcoin. So unless this bleeds out again tomorrow, then it's otherwise holding up very, very well. Now, obviously, the US dollar value is going down because Bitcoin's going down, but the stat value is at 4.7, and it did actually get up to about 5.1 overnight. So that's still holding. The market cap still holding up pretty well, 289 million, but it will be tested over the weekend. We will see how that goes. Maybe we might get a surprise there. We've got a few green charts here. Bank Nakamoto dollar, Pepe Pie Worlds up in there, and what else there? You've got a few little movements, a little bit mixed, but most more down than up, I would say, in the top leaderboard there. Low by the wall pup sitting at 14 there, pretty much flat at 1.12 sats. All right, so that's pretty much it on the meme coins on Magic Eden, the number one DEX for runes and on Bitcoin. We've got Ethereum at the moment. Ethereum there on the daily, on the hourly, you can see once again a big red candle, just like we saw for Bitcoin. And down we've come. We came all the way down to 2,968, so we actually breached 3,000. And how much does that move? That moves, we'll take it from this candle. That moves about almost $200 basically, down 6.25% there. It's pretty similar to Bitcoin. We have had the last 2 hours go green, just like we saw on Bitcoin pretty much. And we're back trying to hold on to that $3,000 mark at the moment. So maybe we might get a surprise bounce back over the weekend. But Sunday's typically like a pretty quiet day. So we'll see how we go. Looking at the daily. And here we go. So yeah, we busted through the 200-day moving average, so not so hot, but we have done it before back here in July. So we'll see where we go here, but definitely 2,994 at the moment. Trying to hold on to that $3,000 mark is the old Ethereum there at this stage. All right, let's jump over. We have seen some pretty good numbers go through the Ethereum ETFs. Then maybe they'll have a bit of a quiet period early next week and then start ramping up. Now, looking at meme coins overall, so the total market cap of crypto is 2.19 trillion. We're down 5.6% for the 24-hour period. And let's have a look at the meme coins at the moment. We've got Dogecoin holding up at 16.2 billion. I think that's actually doing pretty well. It's down 16% for the week, 6.5% over the day. So it's pretty similar to the Bitcoin and the Ethereum price movement. But it's been, I think, Doge's been holding up pretty well there, and that's doing okay. We can see all the meme coins are pretty much down on the weekly. So this third column is the weekly. Second column here is the 24-hour. And we can see it's down, like SHIB's down 13% there. Pepe's down 21%. Dog with hat is very volatile asset, I've noticed. It's down 36%, 16% today. So you can sort of see even the meme coins there, which a lot of the retail go into, are down. You like look at base down 19%. Popcat on Solana down 40%. Cat's World there is down 29%. So you can sort of see the moves down. Dog, of course, we're in here sitting at around about number 15, I think, is down 31% for the week, down 8.8% for the 24 hours. So actually is doing one of the better ones compared to a lot of these others. In fact, it's almost up at the top two, almost as good as the top two there. So it's actually holding up for the time being. Is the old dog go to the moon rune. So that's kind of where we are at the moment on that. That is the general crypto. We're going to get into Pulsechain, of course, day 448. Before we do that, though, let's catch up in some of the chats here. Let's see who's jumped in here. Looks like a pretty quiet day. We haven't got that many people watching today. Kind of unusual. Let's see what else there. Maybe because the market's down, people don't want to look at the screens anymore. That's often what happens. We've got Hex Token in house there. Howdy. Good to see you, Hex Token, working hard over in the USA. Big shout out. We got Brian, our community leader in the house there. Sup, folks? Good to see you, Brian, as always. And Brian crushing it out there in the world. Brian says, just stopped in for a like boss. Got to head out for a bit. Hey, enjoy yourself out there, Brian. America's a big, big place, and there's a lot to do there. Lots to do. All right, let's get into it. Let's go to Pulsechain. And at the moment, we've got Pulse day 448. The price of Pulsechain is at 0.0416, down 6.2%, pretty much in line with the Bitcoin and Ethereum move down. 42% of the mean sacrifice price at the moment, so very good value if you're looking to become a big Pulsechain validator. We got Pulsex at the moment is down 0.0227 and down 9.2%, so moved even bigger than the Ethereum, of course. We got the buy and burn at 935.3 billion Pulsex. That is 4.63% of the public supply is now burned and bought up and burned and gone for good. We got incentive token there down to 10%, 10.4% on incentive token at $2.29. Now we know 6.2% of that is the Pulsechain price. The rest of it is the ratio declining. And I think we were at 57,000 yesterday or so. We're at 55,152 Pulse per one incentive token. And the total amount of incentive tokens is 38,408,000 incentive tokens in existence from the Pulse XV1 farms. Now, yesterday we did a video on passive income and yield farming, and of course we looked at some of the rates that were going on using the wizard, Hocus Pocus wizard, and of course looking at Pulse X farms on V1, and of course that's where all the incentive tokens are being minted out there to people. We got Hex at the moment is at 51/100th of a penny, down 7.14%. So it's actually the second best performer again. So Pulse and Hex often been the better performers relatively. Now on the upside, of course, Pulse Hex and Incentive have been the outperformers most of the time. But at the moment, of course, on the down day, we're seeing Hex is actually less. We've got eHex at the moment at down 11/100th of a penny, so back down at that pretty much all-time low level. And of course, the combined price eHex and PX is at 62/100th of a penny, so still just a really good place to pick up tons and tons of Hex right now. Pretty cool. All right, so we did see some Shark. I think we got Kareem the Dream. Apparently, he's got some legal issues around having some bullets or something like that. I haven't fully followed it, but Richard Hart did repost a request to help him. He's one of the Sharks in Hex, for goodness sake. So it is a little bit unusual. But if he's gotten himself in some trouble accidentally, then yeah, he seems to be put a request out to get bailed, help to get bailed out a little bit there to get some bail or something. So he must have in-staked the other day one of his 10-year stakes. Now he's pretty much max staked all his Hex, and he's pretty much sure he's in the middle, somewhere in the shark level. And so yeah, he'll get a big penalties for those, right? We're not expecting, the 10-year ones, which possibly, depending on where the Hex price is, we might get a lot of penalties at the end of this year, because it'll be 5 years, right? So 10 years divided by 2, 5 years, you get your principal back, but you lose all your interest. But the people will do that if the price is right, or if they desperately need the money. So, but if you're doing it now and you're not 10 years, then you're probably getting hit 65% hit penalties, something like that. It'll be pretty severe. So just take that into account. All right, so that is pretty much it on the markets. Let's go to the charts. We're going to have a look at the weekly charts here at the moment. We've got, like I say, the RSI pretty chilled, back down. It's come back down to 35 here on Pulse. And like I say, the next big news that we've got for Pulse directly is the Richard Hart response to the SEC. That's on the 22nd of August, I should say. Probably on the daily there. It probably shows up better. Let's have a look on the daily. So the RSI at the moment is on 35. So we could go down a bit further on the RSI. We've got a bit of room to move there. But let's have a look at the SEC response. So yeah, that is on the 22nd from Richard. His dream team lawyers have to respond to that. So that is ticking away. It's getting closer every day. How many days away? It is approximately 19 days. So yeah, we're well below the 3 weeks now, ticking away there. And of course, October is when we got the big oral arguments in the court following these, SEC response and Richard Hart's response to the dismissal case, and then the oral arguments in October. What will happen after October? That's the question everybody is asking. Obviously, the market's probably going to look good, but let's see how Pulsechain goes. That dismissal case is pretty important. Now, we won't know whether Trump's getting in to change the regime until the 5th of November, right? So, or maybe the 6th of November, maybe even a week later, depending on how much the system is rigged for the battleground states. It used to be 24 hours, and then last election, of course, we saw it go for days and days and days. And, of course, the following day, we saw the flippening of some of the battleground states' stats that looked completely rigged. So it's just the way it goes. We saw similar things, and funny enough, in, Venezuela's election, and we saw the same chart patterns for the rigging of the election there. So pretty interesting. We'll see where all that heads. Hopefully we get a better quality election from that point of view. Fingers crossed, he says. All right, so we've got Pulsex at the moment, quadruple 0224. And of course, this is still looking much, much better. I mean, look at this. The RSI is at 43. But once again, we've got a pretty big down day today, down almost 10%. And here we are at the moment, but we're still well above this long-term yellow support line. So that's still looking pretty good. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have a closeout of this bullish gap here. So yeah, we're pretty much down in the support level here on the horizontal, a bit further down, 2100 maybe. So we could follow just a little bit more if the market decides to stop bleeding out. The full-on bearish scenario on the horizontal would be around 1800, and that also gets us to the horizontal support as well, which is around 1800, 1700 there. So that would be, the next leg down if the market decides to keep bleeding out. Incentive token, as we saw, pulled back a bit, and but we were really at the top of the range, but we've pulled back down here on the weekly. There's a weekly candles sitting at 58 on the RSI. That's kind of where we're at the moment. So it's just ticking away. PHEX or Hex on Pulsechain is down here as well. So we had that nice little recovery. We've come back down to just over half a penny at the moment. RSI pretty chill at 38. Looking at the daily, RSI is not fully oversold yet. 36. Getting down to 30 would be starting to get oversold territory, like full on. And here we are at the moment trying to find some support at half a penny on Pulsechain. And of course, we will keep waiting. We'll keep waiting. Hopefully, if the market stops moving, that will happen. But EHEX, man, that has just gone down, below 11/10 of a penny, a new all-time low on the old EHEX. Man, oh man, that's some crazy stuff right there. And the RSI not fully oversold, so it's getting there. Might be a good pickup if it hits 1/10 of a penny, because it'll probably get into the oversold territory there. And then you just have to be patient and wait for it to climb back up. That is where it is at the moment. Looking at the rest of the Hex derivatives On Pulsechain, everything is negative, of course. The worst performer at the moment, ICOSA, down 11.8%. Looking at the stable coins, we got a rebound in PDI. Far out. How about PDI? It is up 11% at 0.17 of a penny. So we got a bit of a snapback there. And yeah, we got all the way down to 0.12 of a penny. We've had a nice little recovery there with the markets down on the 4-hourly, the 4-hourly charts, back up to 16.87. I mean, so that's hilarious. Looking at the daily, that is the daily bounce back there on PDI. Pretty speculative, but once again, doing some interesting moves while the market is going down. Let's jump over to the influencer coins. The only positive one on the influencer coins today is more token from Trayvon, up 4.6%. The worst performer is Bromance from Ben Armstrong, down 15.5%, and Access Alive, which was making a bit of a move yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, is down 9.4%. So that's kind of where those are at the moment. Randy Alaski's note token there, sitting at around 7% down. And of course, now Randy's ecosystem has got Corey Costa as part of his influencer network there, doing interviews and promotions. So Randy really ramping up that no token ecosystem there, and of course, there's no permissions. So a big shout out to him. He's a very industrious person, isn't he, Randy? There we go. So that is pretty much it on those. Let's jump over to the Pulsechain numbers here. And we're going to jump over to the total markets. We've got 10.6 million in volume, so really low volume. Obviously, we're doing better at 15, 17 million earlier in the week. And of course, here we are, $10.6 million on the Friday. We got 175,000 transactions, so we're back up over 230 or so, and we're back down to 175. And like I say, the biggest movers at the moment, PDI or Die Hard here. You earn PDI, don't you, on that? So that's up because PDI is up, right? And Teddy Bear at the moment is up there as well, 7%. Meme coins, Gophers is up 6.7% there. Big shout out to Dipcatcher and Goldkey. And I don't know if we've heard much from them, or at least I haven't seen much, but they're out there for sure. Teddy Bear, we got Hex Orange Address from the Tan Gang, the true gang, the true online gang, I think they might be. We got up 4.5%. LUSD is also up 4.4%. So like PDI, LUSD is one of those speculative stable coins, quasi stable coins, inverted commas, that might make it in the future. Big buy and burn, or at least a big burn there. We've got us there. That's pretty much it. UFO doing not too bad with the PDC crew. So up 3.4%. That's pretty much just probably the ones I'm going to talk about at the moment. There we are. That is it for those markets. Let's jump over to the rest of Pulsechain. 480,000 beats. Well, it's pretty similar to yesterday. Slightly down, I think, but we have had elevated gas beats on Pulsechain. Not too sure what's driving that, but it's definitely been up for a while. 6/10 of a penny for a Pulse swap, 400th of a penny for a Pulsecoin transfer, 1/10 of a penny for a PRC20 transfer. So still very cheap value on Pulsechain. Let's have a look here. We got Ethereum at 1 Gwei. Yeah, Ethereum's at 1 Gwei. Look at that, and we're still 173 times cheaper than Ethereum. Ethereum at 1 Gwei. Is that mind blowing? That is pretty mind blowing, I think. All right, let's jump over to the validators. We've got 48,627 validators on Pulsechain at 1.56 trillion is staked. So that's been like that for a week or so. So no change there. And like I say, Pulsechain price at the moment is a wonderful time to pick up 32 million Pulse to become a validator and just earn some passive income waiting for Pulsechain to do that rally whenever it comes, that magic uproar, whenever it comes, whether it's after October or what, but it's coming. Now, we were sitting at, $98 million, so we're down to $95.5 million from yesterday, if I remember rightly. I think we were sitting just over 98 million. And, PDI is still, EDI is still sitting pretty nicely at 29.2, so that's looking pretty good. Obviously, Ethereum is dragged down 6.5% or so. Bitcoin, similarly, is dragged down as well. And a Coast, I can't remember what the Coast was, whether it was that peg or not. I keep forgetting to check that before I come here. And then, of course, EHEX is down almost at 1/10 of a penny. So that's down as well. So dragged down. I haven't checked Pulse Alerts to see whether the big USD or USD tether has been moved. But PDI is certainly looking pretty strong there. So pretty good. I mean, despite the market, the variable cryptos, the stablecoin, at least the PDI there, or the EDI is looking pretty good. Not bad. Now, we do have USDL, PXDC, and HexDC ticking away there. So, 10, 11.4, 12.4. So $12.5 million in those three stables. And then 16, almost $17 million with Coast in there as well. And like I say, I can't wait for PSD Algo. I'm not sure when it's coming. because we know that Jacob is busy with Mafia and he's been off with the flu or COVID or something for the last 10 to 15 days, and his team's on summer break as well. So they're just getting back to work. So hopefully we'll have that big Mafia map out soon. So that's pretty much it. We're starting day 449. Can you believe it? 449 days. So we're almost at 450 days tomorrow. We're 450 days on Pulsechain. People have had the biggest opportunity to accumulate on Pulsechain you could possibly imagine since over those almost 450 days. That leads us into Hex on Pulsechain. Hex at the moment is, have we got the latest day? No, we haven't got day 1705, which is what we're after, day 448. So that's not out yet. We'll probably be out in a minute. So we'll just wait a little bit for that. In the meantime, let's see who else has jumped in the chat there. We got Spike in house there. What's up, Pete? Hey, Spike. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we haven't got many people watching today, which is pretty unusual. But maybe it's because the market's so negative. People just go, oh, I don't want to look at the screens. I don't even want to go look at YouTubers or whatever. I'm just, it's so red and I'm so annoyed by it. But hey, look, it's just the way it goes. The markets go up and down. And, those employment numbers, you know what they do. Once they get a bit of a narrative, the market uses their narratives to do value corrections. There we go. It's not much you can do about it. You can just keep yourself informed and move appropriately. All right, so that's pretty much it. I don't know if we're going to get the Hex stats out in time, but yeah, we have had some pretty good penalties, and one of those penalties must have been Kareem's dream the other day, ending one of his 10-year Hex stakes. And of course, if you get into legal troubles, you're going to have to do some extreme things. He's definitely someone that didn't want to sell all his bags, of course, and he enjoyed being, and he still is a big shark, but of course a lot of his stakes are 15 years. I mean, they're way out there at the moment. So given we're 4.5 years out, they've still got quite a bit of time to go on some of those. So over 10 years still. What was 15 years? Over 10.5 years now or something like that, isn't it? So I think Brian would know about that. Brian, if he was here, but Brian's gone now. So that's pretty much it. Let's see how we go now. I think that's it. I don't know if we've had Richard Hart make any comments. Let me just check Richard Hart, see whether he's been saying much about it. I did see a post from him earlier today. Yeah, I can't see anything on there because blocked. Let me see if I can pull up another screen instead. Let's see here. Go to Richard Hart. Richard Hart, the man, the myth, and the legend. Richard Hart. Let's see. Yeah, he posted a thing, said a click if you liked, like you saw any red candles today. He's talking about Bitcoin and everything else like that. So that's pretty much it. All right. I think we're going to, we haven't got the Hex stats out yet. It'll probably be a few more minutes, so we might leave it there. And I might just do a short stream today. How about that? Since we've only got a small audience, it's just the way it goes sometimes. But once again, we've got a poll in the house, so let's see how the poll's going before we wrap up. And that'll be a 40-minute stream. That's not too bad. I'll be in Discord later on, of course. Let's end the poll. We've got 7 votes, so small number of votes today. But hey, we've got a little bit of a poll. Are you buying now? 57% of 7 people are voting. Not buying, 28%. Yes, but when it goes lower, so people are waiting for the price to go a bit lower, the trend is your friend. Down 40%, and maybe buy 0% there. So there we go. So one person at least is waiting, maybe 2 people are not buying, and 4 people are looking to buy now on the dip. Very cool. All right, well, we'll leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the beginning video too with the Leonardo DiCaprio on the crash in 1987. Fingers crossed that it will cool off over the weekend and into next week. So that we don't have a full-on correction like 10-15%. That's pretty cool. Obviously a major correction is kind of like 20-30%, I think it is. Remember the ratio. That's pretty much it. We've got a comment here from Crypto Greedy. Hex Token Stamina. That's right. Streaming virtually every day, whether it's a bull day or a bear day. We continue to stream. In fact, did I have that on my thumbnail? I can't even remember what my thumbnail was now. I thought I had a bull and a bear on it. I think that's right, didn't I? I'm pretty sure it's a bull versus a bear. Right, 40 minutes. I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and a full-on market coverage. We covered virtually everything, didn't we? Except for, casino coins on crypto. There's plenty of those. Maybe we could go in cover a bit more AI coins and other stuff like that. Might do that. Bring in some new categories of coverage. If you haven't joined our Discord, links in the video description. Join up today. It is a private Discord, of course. And I think we'll leave it there. Let me have a look at the. I'm going to play out some bullish news on the way out. Let's play out Richard Hart and the Magic Carpet Ride. Pulsechain coming down the line at some stage. Stay tuned. And of course, picking up the dips is always good if you can time all those bottoms and pick up lots of volume. That's a winning strategy. All right, take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will be off tomorrow, but I'll be back on the following day. And I'll catch you then. Bye for now.
In theory, if someone were a billionaire and they had like all this money, why wouldn't they just buy more of the thing they liked instead of dumping the thing they liked? Like if Bezos bought shares in Amazon, would you be pissed off? If Apple does a stock buyback and they buy more of their own shares in their company back from the public, which is a way to turn earnings into yield for the shareholders, do you get mad and yell at Apple? And so we had to come up with a word for this fan fiction fantasy, which is the opposite of a rug pull, called a magic carpet ride. And so if you're worried about risk of a rug pull, what weighted value have you given the risk of a magic carpet ride? And it's just hilarious to